Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining our meditation session, Enlightenment Through Meditation, every Saturday, 6 o'clock, our California time. And once again, I would like to thank all of you who take the time to either come here at our place or sit in front of the computers at home, but relieve the minds to be thinking that they have been thinking forever, for all our lives. We have been thinking something or the other and never have gotten the opportunity to sit down where we can let go. Because the meaning of meditation is to let go. So taking the time in a day for 30 minutes or afterwards to do really the meditation, because whatever we go over at this time, that's really the preparation for meditation, to bring mind to a quiet zone where when it is quieter, it will let go. As long as mind is active, it will keep on thinking. So I know I say all this every single time, but it is necessary because we want to thank ourselves for taking the time. Mind never lets us take that time. So let's go with our session, and we have been talking about action and reaction in self-awareness, the divine law of action and reaction, because we have been given a mind. Through the mind and the thinking, we do an action. Like I'm planning to do this session, and it was a thought process at the level of mind. As an action, we set up everything and we are doing this course. So this is a divine law that everybody has been given a mind, because if there was no mind, there is no thought process. So mind does an action, but at the same time, we want to know what is the reaction, because that's also a law. Every action leads to a reaction. So last time we had covered how long does it take for an action and reaction to continue on, and we spent all our 20-30 minutes on that. Today we will go over the action. When we do, is the result going to come in our this life, or is it going to be beyond? There are more parts to it, but we will just concentrate on, do we bear the consequences this life, or we go further on, and when we leave the physical body, the reaction of our action will come then. This is a very interesting topic, because life keeps going, we keeps doing actions, and some of us say we don't believe in action or reaction. We are here to enjoy. There is a feeling that there is nothing like, when you do something, it will come back. We have brought our destiny. Somebody says, I don't even believe anything exists. We just appeared from somewhere. So there are many, many ways and views towards the life. But that really doesn't matter. What matters is what is the divine law and how it works. Because when it works in perfection. There is never that when you do something, although we may know, we may not know, that's not important, because divine law is always in action. It's not like our material law court, it opens at 8 o'clock and closes at 5. It doesn't work like that. It's every moment when we are doing an action, that could be at the level of mind or at the level of body or even in the dream, because our conscious activity within ourselves is very active at that time. So any action done at that time will also bear a consequence. Again, as I said, we like or dislike doesn't really matter. So the question comes, if I do an act today, would I get the reaction right away? Later on? How long it will take? In this life? beyond, or would I have to come back again to bear the consequence? That is what we will discuss. So there are actions of different kinds, right? We do an action right now. We clean the house every single day. That's an action. House is an inert material. There is really not any reaction coming from the house because it's inert. It cannot. But when we are cleaning and we have a cleaning stick in our hand and a dog comes and we beat the dog, just because we felt like it, that's an action. Especially it's a very important action because the dog really is not in the same position as we are. He doesn't hold the stick and beat us again. So that action is different. If there was a child and we beat that child, it's a different action. If there was somebody whom we beat and he was stronger or she was stronger and got a bigger stick and beat the heck out of us, we got a reaction right away. So it depends what we are doing, where we are doing, and how we are doing. Because the reaction will come. So let us say that we beat the dog and the poor dog cannot do anything. So that means it's okay for us to do it because nothing that dog could do. But we need to know that this divine law and its courthouse is always open. So somebody is noticing that we did dog, and if the dog didn't like it really, he must, from in his heart, something must have happened there. Pain or sadness or something, because it's a conscious entity, it's life. So now that request, whatever request went from the heart, is heard. Because it's divine law. It doesn't say that you need to have a mouth to talk. Everything is operating under the divine. They are growing. The tree doesn't come and say, give me water. Its need is automatically fulfilled. We think that tree needs water and we fulfill it. Why? Because divine always works in quietness. The air is there all around us, doesn't talk to us. Water is in the ocean, river don't talk to us. Sky is up there, doesn't talk to us. So it's not that this mouth is needed. When from the heart the vibration goes, it goes. And when it goes into the divine, if it is a free flowing and merging into the divine, it becomes big and divine. That's why we say that when we do good things, many times it comes back to you as good. Why? Because it's a positivity. Nature is giving, we are also giving. Giving to giving merges. When it merges, it suddenly becomes divine, which has no dimension. But we also say that when we say something negative and it doesn't blend with divine, it comes back many times more. Why is that? Because when it goes to, if you go to caves or something and you say or whatever sound, it echoes right back to you. So when a negative action goes out, it becomes like that and also bounces back to us. So in one way it is becoming divine and becoming too big. In the negative way it bounces back to us multi-forms bigger. Therefore, doing negative actions or thinking negative is not productive for us, although we cannot comprehend. Mind cannot comprehend because mind feels good when we say something negative about someone or we find deficiencies in someone and prove that we are better. There is something like we feel good about it. The mind feels good about it. At heart we really know, is it even worth for us saying a good or not? But we do it. So the action will have to come back. So as I mentioned in this example, if the dog was weaker, it couldn't come back to us. But if there was a human being, then he stronger than us, maybe he retaliated and we got a result right away. And then this will continue on. Maybe we were taken advantage by that person. Then what? And let's say we were hurt severely and we ended up in a hospital. And he made a permanent damage to us, for argument's sake, In that case, somebody has to bear the consequences. And in reality, standing here and discussing this particular scenario, it's very difficult to say he is at fault. But thank goodness to that divine law who watches who is coming from where to the deepest detail in the heart. And from there it analyzes and sees what will work for our benefit, for other person's benefit, because divine is all positive, cannot give us negative. So it will say to carry the consequences, this soul has to go through these many steps ultimately, so it can merge back into where it belongs. So the path is still towards positivity, but now because of those actions, either we bear them now, or we have to bear them in our beyond, or we come back as a different form, and that form could not, maybe not a human form, it could be some other form, and then that form has to pass and pass and pass. Ultimately, then when that reaction is taken care of, we go back into our track. So therefore, when we get into self-awareness and the path of enlightenment, our own consciousness becomes pure, more pure. When it gets purer, then what happens? We stop doing specially negative actions. Who decides they are negative? Not the other party. We decide, because we know that this action is either not positive for the environment, or it's not positive for a human being, or for the animal kingdom, or whatever it may be, but we become our own judge. And every session almost this thing comes up. That's why it is called self-awareness. Because in self-awareness means we find faults in ourselves, we see the good qualities in us, but we don't inflate them. Because if we inflate them, hey, I'm like this, I am good, I take care of this, I work too hard, I am the best of all, then what actually we are doing? We are inflating our own ego. We are telling ourselves we are good. And that, if you look at the nature, it doesn't come back and says to us, hey, I made so many trees, hey, it took me a long time to make the ocean. Nothing. It's quiet. It's just there. Its presence, ocean's presence means that there is water. Nobody's talking. Nobody needs to talk. Why don't, if we want to become like divine and positive and giving, why we have to say all that? That means we need growth in our path, in our awareness. Because when our awareness becomes higher and higher, our mind starts to die down more and more and more and more and more. And the moment it dies completely, it becomes divine. That doesn't mean that we end up in a hospital. That does losing mind, it doesn't mean that. But what it means, it completely realizes who is the boss, under whose control we are running, what is mind, what is heart, what is consciousness, and how the system works. So it comes into acceptance. When we are in acceptance, everything is beautiful because we are not fighting with it. It's our mind who keeps fighting. When we are fighting, I don't like this, I don't like this, why this happened to me like that, it should change like this, and that's not happening. That struggle. When that is a struggle, there is going to be ailments, maybe mental ailments or physical ailments. They are going to happen because that's how we are not in acceptance. When the acceptance comes, the difference in divine acceptance is we know that divine cannot do bad to us. We say it, God loves us. We say all the time. Every church we go to, they all say that. We also say that. But we truly don't believe. That's why self-awareness, when we look, we say, but if we believe God loves us, then how can He be the Father and be doing wrong things to us? Why there is stress in our lives? There couldn't be. But there is, we feel there is. We feel there is. So that means we don't know how our divine is working. When we go to our father, like material father, biological father, and if we are 5 years old and we ask him, hey, give me the gun you have, father doesn't give us the gun. So what do? Is he really doing bad to us or is he doing good to us? But our awareness hasn't got to a point where we can realize why father is not giving. Maybe when we grow up, we are ready to handle that, he will give it to us. But we haven't grown to that point. Same thing happens with divine and self-awareness. Because awareness is at the level of consciousness. It has to grow to a point where we start realizing why bacteria was made. It's a lot of problem for all of us, but why it was made, why fungus was made, why stars were made. If we want to know all those answers, we need to grow within ourselves. So for going back to the action and reaction, if we do an act today, there is bound to be a reaction. That reaction could be right away, could be for a later time, or could be after we leave the physical body, because that balancing has to happen, will happen, we like or dislike, it will take place. So it's for our own betterment to realize that action and reaction will take, and to avoid further path for us to meet with the ultimate ocean of love, we need to start working on our own awareness. And how do? We go into meditation. What does it mean? Meditation means you let go and you merge with the moment. So merging with the moment, whatever is happening is acceptable to us. And in this session, for me saying that and you listening to that is easier than done, because we are growing, and every moment in our life we are told that we are minds and accept this and don't accept it, this is not good, this is bad. We are taught that way, that we have become so analytical that even driving the car, our mind is working somewhere else. I mean, we all do that, and we analyze, we think, we do so many actions even at the level of mind, that when I walk in the office, this person has been bothering me and I'm gonna ignore that person, whatever that may be, and we don't even realize those are all actions we are creating that will give us reaction. So when we think about the journey of life, the real purpose of this life, why did we come to this planet Earth, and that will be a completely separate section. Sometime we will address those parts, that why we were born as a human being and what is our main purpose. But the purpose is ultimately the drop of love will ultimately merge into the bigger ocean. And to merging into the bigger ocean, if we want to make our path smaller, that means we need to do these actions much thoughtfully, much in love, and avoid all those negative things that come within us without even asking. Jealousy will come into us without even demanding. Love doesn't. Loving someone is very difficult, especially if we dictate that this person is my enemy and I don't like this person, and someone comes and says, hey, love that person. Not easy for us, because we don't like, our minds don't like. But the divine says you need to love everybody, your friend, your relative, your somebody you like or dislike, your neighbor, your enemy. It doesn't matter, because sun is giving light to everyone. Sun doesn't say, if today I stand here and I really curse the heck out of sun, tomorrow sun still will be there and is not going to say to me, I won't give you light. It will be indifferent. I can go and still enjoy the light. So if we go back and look at the nature by itself, which is run by divine, we will find nature only knows to give, to love, to provide. Even look at our body machinery, it's running, the heartbeat is going, all the cellular processes are happening without us asking. And when we get a little sick or something, we have so much problem. We never look within ourselves what maybe I am doing that my body is not liking so much. Maybe my own actions are coming to my body, so I am going through this pain. So there is a message that is coming to me, and I listen to that message and improve myself. That will become self-awareness. That means we learned from that and we tried to modulate, and we moved and we moved and we moved, and one day maybe our awareness has gotten much higher, that we start loving ourselves and everybody all around us. So therefore, if we start thinking about all the actions that we do, how they will come back as a reaction, we start looking within ourselves and start to improve our own actions. Our concentration, our eyes will go inside, not outside, because generally we find fault very easy. That person did this to me, therefore I was like that. That person is like that, therefore I am like that. And we need to change it to, that person is doing exactly the way the person needs to do. And I am not here really correct them, because even if I say to correct them, it may bring the problem bigger. And whoever is giving me the love is the same entity giving love to them. They are not quite maybe receiving them at this time. So therefore, we should not look what is happening to others, but concentrate on our own self-awareness. So we look at self and say, okay, we need to improve. We need to make sure that we don't make those actions that make our journey bigger and bigger, because we want to merge into the bigger ocean as soon as possible. So we become the love. We become that happiness that everybody wants. So with that, I think we will end this session for tonight, and then we will go next session. What is reincarnation? Because if the results are coming in our next time or beyond, then the question is, does it lead to reincarnation, and whatever that means. So with that, I would like to thank you for joining our session tonight, and I hope that you ask your friends and relatives to join. If they have any questions, you have any questions, you can always write to us on Ustream, or you can write to us on our website. That's www.drkors.com. You can watch all these videos on our YouTube channel, that is Dr. Kaur's channel, but youtube.com/Dr. Kaurs. You can communicate to us through our Facebook page, that is facebook.com/Dr. Kaurs. And until next time, I would like to thank you, and hopefully I will talk to you again on the same topic of self-awareness, enlightenment through meditation, and we will concentrate on what is reincarnation. Before I leave, just want to let you know that happiness is not too far, and therefore enjoy yourself rest of the weekend, and I will see you next Saturday. Thank you so much.